Good morning, fam. What's going on? Today's April 9th. I am back in the cellar, in the dungeon, in the lab, in the office, whatever you want to call it, here to bring you today's lesson. So we are continuing with our study of the Vietnam War and specifically Vietnam War protests. And why we're doing this is so we can understand that in situations like military wars and interventions, that those things don't just happen outside of our country. There are impacts at home. You studied with Mr. Wongard World War II and how the work that was done by people at home during World War II is what spurred our economy on out of the Great Depression and gave people purpose during this time. And Vietnam is a very different situation. During World War II, there were not a lot of people who opposed it. It was just a strict good versus evil. But as we're studying this week and next week, there are a lot of people who opposed it and went to great lengths to ensure that we got ourselves out of there and we saved the lives of people who were over there fighting. So today's song, Ohio by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, is a response to an event at Kent State University in Ohio where a protest was going on at a college. Kent State is a college. And then what happened was they brought in the National Guard, and during the protest, and as they were trying to push the protesters back, 4 students were killed. And that's the basis of the song Ohio. So if you want to take a break right now and listen to the song, there's a couple different versions. I really like the Graham Nash version. It's the third one down in your Google class. He's one of the people from the band talking about how the song was made and why it was made. But I'm going to share my screen with you so I can go over a few things that I think are important in terms of the song. So we've got a share right here. Okay, so almost the same questions as you had yesterday with the song For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. And actually 3 of the members of Buffalo Springfield are members of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. So that's really cool. So both these songs were basically sung by the same guys. All right, so I just told you, number 2 right here. First, number 1, highlight in the song everything you think is a reference to Vietnam. Number 2, at which university in Ohio did these events take place? I just told you, it's Kent State University. Then do the 5 phrases that stand out to you. Okay. Shoot, I'm going to change this because it should say, who are, great, had a chance to, on the fly, do a correction there. So, what is the tone of the song? Who are the Tin Soldiers and Nixon? What was the band trying to say with lyrics should have been done long ago? And also, what is the band trying to say when they use the line, how can you run when you know? So, again, it's a fairly short song. Songs at that time were shorter, but again, this is their medium for protest. They didn't have social media. They couldn't go to Twitter or to Instagram or to YouTube or to Facebook and put out their the things that they were frustrated by. They just had to do it through song. So starting right at the top here. So what I'm going to do is, as I was asking you to as well, is to highlight the things that are important. So I'm going to do that on my page as well. So starting at the top, Tin Soldiers and Nixon's coming. We're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming, 4 dead in Ohio. So this is a reference to those 4 students that were killed at Kent State. So I'm going to highlight that. I think that's important. Got to get down to it. Soldiers are cutting us down. Should have been done long ago. So this is one of the questions I asked you about. So this is the lyric right here, but in context, we want to look at what they're saying in the rest of this chorus. So here's the line, but I really want you to look at it in the context of what everything else is written with it. And here at the end in this chorus is, you know, the other verse that I really, or lyric that I wanted you to, how can you run when you know? And what I want you all to be thinking about as you're going through it is, what do they mean by that line of how can you run when you know? What do they know? What are they running from? What is the consequence of their running? Those are the things I want you to be thinking about when you're answering that question. Um, but really, this is the chorus. Like, gotta get down to it. Soldiers are cutting us down. What is this a reference to? Soldiers are cutting us down. To me, it reads being cut down is being killed. So soldiers are killing us. They're killing our own people. And in the other video for the song, there's a famous picture, and I'll post it in Google Classroom, of a girl standing over a friend who's dead on the ground. That's the references too. So I'll have the picture posted in your assignment as well. Um, what if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? As as we are listening to the song and talking about it, it's asking you, what if that was you? You were there and you found a friend dead on the ground. And continues, the exact same chorus goes again, and then it comes back to tin soldiers and Nixon's coming. We're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming for dead in Ohio, and that verse repeats for about 4 or 5 times to end the song. So really, for this assignment, focusing on the tone of it, but this song is in response to a particular event. So I want you to focus on that. And yes, the event is the Vietnam War, but focus on this event at Kent State. So I'm gonna link up a few more things that you can use here on Google Classroom to be able to do the assignment. But we're focusing on not just Vietnam, what took place in the war there, but what was going on at home. And we want to reference it to what um, what's happening in our world now in terms of protests and those different things. That's where we want to move to next week. Next week, we're going to be talking a little bit about Muhammad Ali and Colin Kaepernick, how those two sports protests are kind of linked and comparing them. And also from the Vietnam era, the Pentagon Papers, which were leaked by someone in the CIA versus a person like Edward Snowden, who blew the whistle on the NSA 5, 6, 7 years ago. Okay, so we want to connect then to now in terms of protests and what our rights are as humans and as Americans to protest, but also what the consequences of those can be. So I hope you have a great day. I'm looking forward to seeing you hopefully real soon. But again, I really appreciate you reaching out to me. And if you're watching this and you haven't commented on whatever the day's attendance question is, please do that so I can mark you here. So love y'all. We'll talk soon.